Hello, everyone. As we are ending year 2023, let's take a look at 2024. And if you look back, I can only hope that it wasn't too terrible for you, but definitely was very, very terrible for some of the people on Earth. And we are going to take a look at the number as well. And before we do that, I need to philosophize a little bit because nothing really starts, nothing really commences in nature when we go from December 31st to January 1st. And this is another example of how the powers that be disrupted everything that was sacred between human and the divine. And just this arbitrary year starting energy is really too sad because if you look around in nature, there's nothing there. I mean, we finally had a white Christmas. It was very beautiful. And usually around January 1st, we have a minus 10 degree centigrade here in Central Europe, which is quite cold and you can do nothing outside. I mean, yes, you can go for a walk, but nothing happens in nature. So why then are we still trying to push this new energy into being where the surrounding circumstances are not actually having it? It's a good question, you might ask. But then, as I was talking about this, and actually we did a video together with my very dear friend and colleague Emese in Hungarian. So if you know Magyar, you can check it out. It's going to be a longer video. It's already out there. And she said something really wise. She said that, okay, yes, in nature, nothing starts. But the fact that we are waiting for the clock to wind down, and then we start to scream, and actually we Hungarians always sing our national anthems, and we cry a little bit, and we make all kinds of promises and pacts and whatever. So when many people are doing the same, kissing each other, singing, hoping for a new and better year, that energy is very powerful, just like the energy of common prayer when we are praying for something together or common meditation. And she has a point. So actually, I give in and let's take a look at the January 1st chart in London. But before we do look at the chart, we are going to look at the number itself. You might realize that in the Rider-Waite Tarot, justice has a number 11, but the original number is 8. So you have to understand that it was Rider-Waite who changed the numbers, exchanged 11 for 8. I don't know why. Maybe because there's a lion on, I mean, strength there's a lion depicted there, and the 8th month is Leo. I have no idea, but in the original series, in the original order of the tarot, number 8 belongs to justice. And this card is usually, how do we get 8, number 8? When we end up year 2024, we get an 8. And what does it usually mean? My friends who deal with the tarot usually say when you draw this card that everything is karmic, whatever happens to you is karmic. Whereas I say that whatever happens to you is your destiny. There's a big difference between karma and destiny. I would say that judgment, number 20, is more like karma, actually, because there is the second coming of Jesus Christ, and that's when he is going to decide whether you are going to the Garden of Eden, back up in paradise, or you are just going to perish. And this one means that whatever is happening to you is your destiny. And if you take another look at the year 2024, actually what you have here hidden for another 76 years, you will have destiny also and karma both kind of hidden in this thing. And also, if you take a look at 24 separately, you could always do that. 24 means 24 karat gold. So this year suggests, just by looking at the number, means that please pay attention to what you do. Try to do your best. Try to strive for better, for more, for something that is really as good as 24 karat gold. That's what the numbers say. And of course, the card justice means that whatever has happened is going to be your destiny. So you're shaping your destiny. And this is the London chart on January 1st at 0 hours, 0 minutes. We always have a Libra rising. We always have the sun on the IC in Capricorn. So please never delineate those features in the January 1st chart, because they will always be the same. Actually, if you take a closer look at the position of the sun, you will notice that the sun is still in the 4th house, not yet emerging in the 3rd, not yet crossing the IC, which technically means that every year, the exact moment of the new year in London signifies that we are still in the old year, and it takes a couple of more minutes for the sun to cross the IC. But other than that, here are the main astrological features of the chart itself. On the ascendant, the dark moon Lilith is rising. What does the dark moon mean? It is the second installment, the second turning point of the Lilith myth, when Lilith leaves the Garden of Eden and never looks back, and actually even utters God's unutterable name, which means that she has power over Yahweh, and also that in karmic astrology, of course, this particular object means that I will do whatever I have to, and I don't care even if you curse me for that. It's a very powerful energy on the ascendant. It gives us a lot of power. Mercury is stationary direct, so still stationary, and it's going to turn direct on the 2nd of January. It's a very powerful position. We're going to look at Mercury in detail, so I'm not going to blow all my bullets here. You have Australia on the MC, karma breaking, destiny changing, and the vertex, the point of I have no free will, is on Chiron. So wounding and getting wounded is going to continue this year. The Aries North Node conjunction is already separating. This was 2023, the year 2023 main karmic astrological feature. And the moon, which we're going to look at again in detail, has a separating but tight conjunction from trans Pluto, a doubly separating one, and an applying conjunction to Black Moon Lilith, which is the 3rd turning point of the Lilith myth, and a very interesting structure here, which I named diamond. It is made up by a T-square and a classic trapeze. We are going to look at it in detail. Now, let's take a look at the hemisphere emphasis. You must understand that Venus, Mercury, and the Sun will always be in below the horizon in the midnight chart. But even then, it's only 5 to 7. So actually, it is not bad. So it's not. So in recent years, there was a heavy emphasis below the horizon, which meant that a lot of stuff was hidden, remained hidden throughout the year. Here, still, we have this emphasis. But as I say, if you take the Sun, Mercury, and Venus out of the picture, we have hope that maybe not that much, and the other luminary is above the horizon. So actually, we could uncover some things that are important to us, either on the soul level or as a group of people, or as the crowd, the people. On the left-hand side, we have 7. On the right-hand side, sorry, 5. On I always mix up left and right. I apologize. So, and on the rising side, you have 5. On the setting side, we have 7. So there's a little bit emphasis on trying to liaise, trying to have friends and associates, and not just act on yourself. But of course, out of the personal planets, 4 are actually on your side. So there's, again, the balance is set back. Let's take a look at the elements and modalities. Again, if you look at the elements, there's always an emphasis on cardinals, because the sun and the ascendant are always in cardinal signs, and there's a good chance that either Mercury or Venus or both are also in Capricorn. So that is why we have usually a very heavy emphasis on cardinal. If you take this into consideration, it's not that bad, okay? Because this year, the nodal axis is what gives it a heavier emphasis, but other than that, it's okay. There's very little fixed, only Jupiter and Uranus, and there is a definite emphasis on mutables. And one of the luminaries, the moon, is in a mutable sign, and besides the moon, 3 other personal planets are there. So the change is something that we need to focus on, and we will have the potentials as well. And then when you look at the elements, again, there's usually an emphasis on Earth because the sun and quite often Mercury and Venus are also in Capricorn. The sun is always there. This year, however, they are not, but instead we have the other luminary, the moon, also in an Earth sign. So there's a definite emphasis on Earth. And we have very little water, only Neptune and Saturn are in Pisces, and very, very little air, because the ascendant is always in Libra. So again, we can take that out of the account. But the South Node, luckily, is in air. So we will have a lot of inspiration, fire, and the ability to change things and transform things, because fire is the element of transformation. Not too much thinking and cerebral abilities, but we can count on what we bring in from previous incarnations, South Node. Very little water, and being down to earth will be important, and actually we will have the potential for that. Let's take a look at the moon, which is at a very prominent position, the 11th house, and it is also making a trine, an applying trine with the sun, which is quite good. This is something that I really liked. And it is a disseminating moon, which means we can learn a lot and we can teach others a lot. So you can actually go ahead and teach others what you know. This is something that is going to become very handy in the upcoming years. And if really the powers that be want to turn us into poor little creatures who have no power and no money and no resources and no future, then we will need everything in our power that we could possess, knowledge and other things. So here's the moon in Virgo. So it's a very picky moon. At the same time, it is conjunct trans Pluto, dimension jump and channeling. So we will be able to channel a lot of stuff. And then in applying conjunction with Lilith, the black moon Lilith, which means the ability to go wherever we need to go and do whatever we need to do, because that is what's right, because that's the main function of the black moon. And the moon, which I owe this fact to my friend and colleague Emesha, who uncovered this fact. So the position of the moon is very unique because it is aligned with the galaxies in the constellation Phoenix. This is the constellation Phoenix. You won't be able to see it from the northern hemisphere. It's a southern hemisphere. It's one of those southern birds that only Australians and New Zealanders and South Americans can see. Unfortunately, we can't. Nevertheless, there are 4 very different looking galaxies within the constellation Phoenix, and they are named Robert Quartet, named after Robert Friedman, who catalogued these galaxies. He didn't spot them. Actually, it was Herschel's son who spotted them in sometime in the 1830s. But it was Friedman who catalogued them, and he gave them these designated numbers. And if you take a look at these galaxies, they are very, very strikingly different. I mean, this is a spiral galaxy, an NG 89 with 2 spiral arms. This one, NG 87, is like falling apart, really, like it's like a bubble. NG 92 is also quite irregular. It has a huge dust cloud that is kind of obscuring part of it. And NG 88 is just like a blurb. So that is why, and within the constellation Phoenix, it really, these four galaxies describe the 4 phases of the mythical bird of the Phoenix. Now, according to myth, the Phoenix lives for 500 years. And if you consider the fact, and it's so funny because I always wonder how these concepts come into being. Because in effect, we have in history 500-year eras, which are kind of defined by the Neptune-Pluto conjunction. There's a way to describe these eras. It's called the horoscope of mankind. And every Neptune-Pluto conjunction, you have to find the nearest new moon, and then just relocate the chart for wherever you want to look at it. And for 500 years, it's going to show you main events. It's quite fascinating, to tell you the truth. I'm not working with this because to me it is quite undetailed, let's put it this way, but it gives you the main ideas. And anyhow, so the phoenix is also living for 500 years. And when it ripens and it's getting old and realizes that it's going to die, according to the myth, it creates a nest out of fragrant woods and then ignites itself and burns and then is reborn from the ashes. So this is death and rebirth mythology, of course. It's a beautiful bird, and it's a beautiful. And of course, if you saw the Harry Potter movies, then you know how it actually is ignited and then creates itself again. So, and if you take a look at these galaxies, actually these kind of hint at the 4 phases of the phoenix. So that is on Mercury. And the moon, sorry, it's on the moon, because on Mercury you have something else. So here's the Sagittarius stellium, and finally we have a stellium not in Capricorn, which is so usual and so general in a January 1st chart. But we have a Jupiter ruled sign instead, not Capricorn, Saturn ruled sign, and out of the personal planets, 3 are there, and then also Ceres, which is a dwarf planet. It's actually it's asteroid number 1, but recently in 2006 it was relabeled as a dwarf planet. I have to tell you that I'm not very impressed by this decision, because the label dwarf planet is quite ambiguous if you consider the fact that Ceres is an asteroid physically located in the asteroid belt, has an orbital period of 4.5 years, despite the fact that Pluto, which is located in the Kuiper belt, outer Kuiper belt, has an orbital period of 250 years, are both the same categories. Really? I mean, come on. Don't insult my intelligence. That was my first reaction to this. But anyhow, it is now officially a dwarf planet. So actually it is a strong thing. So you have Mars there, Mercury, and Mars is at the galactic center. So it actually, Mars carries, oops, the dilemma. Why did I do that? Okay, sorry about that. I'm making all kinds of clumsy stuff. Anyhow, so this is it. So Mars is at the galactic center. The galactic center carries the karmic dilemma of to be or not to be. I have a video on this if you want to check it out. And Ceres, of course, is nurturing, the nurturing principle, and Venus is love and money. And we are going to look at it in detail in another slide. But what is here important is Mercury, because Mercury is on, first of all, it's on TNO Huya, and also on a star cluster HP1. We are going to look at it both in detail. First of all, let's take a look at Huya, which was discovered by Venezuelan astronomers, and they named it after a Venezuelan water god, rain god. And it's originally written spelled Juyya. So you have a J in the front, but of course in Spanish, when you have a J at the beginning of a word, you have to pronounce it H. And these Venezuelan astronomers were pretty sure that we are going to misspell it. We are going to misspell it like J or something, or like John. But they wanted the spelling to be uttered perfectly, so they changed the spelling. And in karmic astrology, Huya is linked to black magic, all kinds of magic, but black magic as well. And in magic, naming something precisely is very important. So actually there's a twist here. It's on Mercury, so we can do a lot of magic this year. This is what I think. And the other interesting thing is that it is also aligned with HP1, which is a cluster of the most ancient stars in the universe so far located. And astronomers say that if we could understand these stars and the formation of these stars, we could actually uncover all the secrets of the universe. They have not yet done this, but let's hope that they will. So Mercury, again, here is at a very prominent position, and it gives us hope for magic, and at the same time also to uncover the reason and the depth and the starting point of all things. Okay, let's take a look at what is in the chart on the luminaries and the on the 4 cardinal points, the or MCIC, ascendant, descendant. On the sun, you have Anahita and Thales. Anahita is the creator goddess. Again, something that you can only understand in Hungarian. There's a lot of stuff you can only understand in Hungarian. Fortunately or unfortunately, learn Magyar and then you will understand it. Because Anahita, the creator goddess, in Hungarian means Anyahit, which means the belief in the mother. And Thales, of course, is a Greek philosopher and mathematician. That's on the sun, so we can calculate and we can count on creation. On the moon, you have Moira, Artemis, and Elatus. Moira is the fates. Artemis is the twin of Apollo, the moon goddess, and Elatus is one of the centaurs which are unique among the centaurs. The centaurs, you might remember, their stories come from Metamorphosis of its work, and there's a cluster of centaurs who want to be better than the rest of them, who want to somehow overcome their ancestor who was a rapist, and this half animal, half instinctual nature of them. And actually, 2 are prominent in this particular chart. Both Elatus and Bienor belong to this group of centaurs who want to be better. And Elatus is linked to pride in one's own work and writing. It provides you with brilliant writing abilities and a good ethic in work. And this is on the moon. On the ascendant, you have Gawain and zero. Zero means zero. So actually, to live out of zero, I often mention that my grandparents and great-grandparents, actually, my great-grandparents never saw money in their lives, and my grandparents were also quite poor when you consider assets. But they have land, they had lands, and they grew crop and fruits, and they cultivated wine. So actually, they were quite rich, but not from a money point of view. And the ability to create something out of nothing, that is on the ascendant, with a knight in shining armor, Gawain. On the descendant, you have Salacia, who was the bride of Neptune. Read the story, it's brilliant, because it shows that Neptune doesn't know what's underneath the depth of its empire, because that's where Salacia hides from him. And Salacia is linked to commitment and the ability to hide in plain view, and the fact that we don't know what is in the dark recesses of our psyche. So it's quite a powerful TNO. And on the IC, you have Anubis and Quawar. Anubis is the god of death in Egyptian mythology, and also who weighs you, who is weighing your heart and decides whether you can be reborn or not. And Quawar is one of my favorite TNOs. It is a creation through dancing and singing. So it's like when you have nothing, zero on the ascendant, you can still create by your own talent and by your own faculties. It's really, I think, brilliant. Okay, so those are the transcendental objects defining this moment. And then let's take a look at this beautiful diamond, a brilliant cut diamond, which is in the chart, within the chart. You might remember that last year we had a crown. And now we have a diamond. and it's made up by a T-square and a classic trapeze. Now, I wasn't very happy with the T-square, to say the least, because we have the Moon, Venus, and Saturn in a mutable T-square. And you can look at this in two ways. First of all, you can look at the fact that among the classical planets, the Moon and Venus are the two feminine planets. The Moon is the mother archetype and Venus is the lover archetype. And this is something when they cut the creator goddess into two, they separated it hermetically so that the two should not meet at all. Think about, in past centuries, how sacred marriage was kept for the offspring, and then the men went into the brothels to have fun. So that's the two functions. But also, these are two money planets. The Moon is your cash, and Venus is your assets, and they are in square now. So there's the dilemma of whether I should spend my assets now or I should keep my cash and turn them for later assets. But clearly there's a clash in that. But luckily, Trans-Pluto is also there, so you can channel the answer, or you can actually create a dimension jump to find the answers. But then there's Saturn, okay, which again gives us the flavor of karma, but also the flavor of depression, because Moon Saturn is always about depression. And so is Venus Saturn in a way, because as according to Judy Hall, Venus Saturn, especially a square, is about inherent unlovableness. So we will be poor this year. We will be kept poorer and poorer, made to be poorer and poorer. That's the big plan, to impoverish mankind. And clearly, it's done. It's going to be done this year. But we still have the saving grace of Trans-Pluto to understand what's happening, and the saving grace of this beautiful trapeze. The top of it, the stage of it, is the Jupiter Astrea sextile. So believe Jupiter in karma breaking, in destiny changing. That is what we can do. The sun has just come up. Beautiful, actually. So there's hope. There's hope, and the inner structure within the diamond, you have a finger of fate, a yod, at the apex of which is Venus, and of course the solution again is the Jupiter Astrea sextile. If you take a look at the transcendental celestial objects very quickly, with the Moon, we already looked at it. On Saturn, you have Gong Gong and two bright stars, Sada Melek and Pu Mahaut. Gong Gong is the monster that is creating havoc, is just disrupting everything out there. And on Jupiter, you have Gilgamesh, a hero. And on Venus, you have Nate, another creator goddess. This is the Egyptian creator goddess. Hidalgo, who is a hero, the Mexican war. And Graphias, which is where the celestial Scorpio's physical body or main body is linked to the tail. So it is the linkage between the instinctual and the functional. That's how we usually delineate it. Okay, there's also mutable T-square around 26, 27 degrees. And this mutable T-square, another mutable T-square, which again helps or promotes change, at the apex of which is Neptune. And there's an Astrea-Mars opposition. Mars, of course, is the fighter. Don't forget, we had Gawain on the ascendant. So Mars is actually the warrior, and Vesta is the focusing principle, but also the high priestess energy. And the Neptune-Mars square is about, we don't know who we fight for or against. This is the quixotic energy. And Vesta Neptune is focused on your dreams, and Vesta Mars is focused on your fights. And Terpsichore is on Neptune, so dance on Christmas, New Year's Eve. Definitely create big dances. And on Mars, you have Iris, the rainbow, again channeling Demeter, mother goddess. Ceres was quite prominent, so it's another mothering goddess. It's actually the same. Demeter is the Greek version of the Roman goddess. Varda, which is in Tolkien Silmarillion, and she is the creator of stars. And the galactic center, that's all on Mars. Again, with the dilemma of to be or not to be in karmic astrology. let's take a look at outer planet placements very quickly. Quite interestingly, the two slowest, Pluto and Sedna, are coming in and out of two signs, which means that they are mostly anoretic within the years. And this flavor of being anoretic, being stalled, unable to decide, unable to move, is very prominent throughout the year, because we have a number of TNOs trying to break into a new sign, but then going back and whatever. Jupiter will be in Taurus, but then it moves into Gemini on March 25th. Saturn, Chiron, Uranus, and Neptune are in their same signs as last year, so there's nothing there. And the nodes are also in Aries and Libra, and Aries is also in Aries. So those are the changes. Here are the main aspects of the year, out of which just a couple of things. So in February, you will have the North Node Chiron conjunction, the realization of karmic wounds. On June the 2nd, you have the Jupiter-Pluto trine, which is super unlimited success. But by December 13, you have the square, because Jupiter is moving so fast. So that's always an interesting feature with Jupiter, that within a year, you can have a different aspect, and then the course of events is changing. But what is really the main thing is the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, which we are going to take a look at separately. Because that is a synod. Actually, it's a new synod is starting. The Jupiter-Uranus conjunction occurs every 14 years. And if you have this in your chart, two things may happen. If either Sagittarius or Aquarius is featured prominently in your chart, or if the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction is in your 1st or 10th, or it makes an aspect to the Sun or any of the personal planets, then you will internalize this aspect, which is really an outer planet aspect. If you consider it's not very rare. I mean, every 14 years is not rare, but it's still not every day. It's not something that the moon or the sun does. So, and these are the keywords usually that we associate with Jupiter-Uranus. And I will make a separate video when we are nearing it, because I want to show you the chart, because it's fascinating, and other things are heavily emphasized there. But it's usually, there's always a sudden breakthrough associated with Jupiter-Uranus. All kinds of things. It could be social, political, or technological. It also is a turning point, lucky and redemptive turning points in life. And all kinds of events that are producing progress, big time, sudden progress. There's always an advancement in technology, which is either good or bad. I'm not labeling this. Usually, this is one of the success aspects in karmic astrology, Jupiter-Uranus, conjunction, trine, bidirectional, quincunx, parallel, contraparallel. I think I have a series on success, and I think I have it in English as well, so you might want to check it out. But so we don't really label it, because it could mean an advancement in technology which we are not going to be happy. Think about the atomic bomb. There's always a cultural expansion. So something is growing big. So there's accelerated growth. This is the key for the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. And there's something else that I would like to show you before we break off. So these are the dates to watch for the Jupiter-Uranus and take a look at the news, and take a look at what's happening in your own life, and try to utilize it. I am very, how should I put it, positive about it, because it's on Taurus 2149, and it makes all kinds of stuff in my chart, because I have 21, 22 degrees quite heavily in my chart. So I'm looking forward to this. So it comes within 1 degree of orb on April 15th, and it will be there until April 26th. Now, if you give it a 3-degree orb, you expand the potential time span. So those are the times to watch. There's also, still in the January 1st chart, an anoretic mini engine. First of all, there's the Pluto Sedna trine, which will continue to be important this year as well. It's a rare trine. Pluto is power and transformation, and Sedna is creation through dissection. So clearly, the new era is in the making, but this is still energetic. On January 1st, it's still energetic. So it still has its birthing pains, so to speak. We don't know yet what's going to happen. It will be also exact at 0 degrees in air signs. So it's the end of the earth sign, and then there, within the year, there's going to be an air sign trine as well. And Hygeia, which is the 10th of the asteroids, and it is the word hygiene comes from her name. She was a daughter of Asclepius, and she wanted to create health and harmony, and she wanted that all kinds of things should be clean and healthy, and so it's how to create a sacred space. But actually, it is squaring 7, and this is a fixed square. So we are trying to create a sacred space, and we are trying to create a new era, but it's still not yet there. The transcendental objects, those are a pharaoh, a pyramid builder, the Pleiades, which were there and will be there for another 2 years, the home of the creator goddess. On Hygeia, you have Toro, a fighter again, and Krantor, to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. It's a very sensitive centaur. And on Pluto, you have Aphrodite, the lover energy, and Orius, mitigated punishment, the label of the mitigating punishment. And here I'm just leaving this here because whenever anything is important in this, I will talk about it. But we have a number of centaurs that are ready to cross over the signs. By the way, centaurs and TNOs in karmic astrology, we kind of use them together, whether they are TNOs, centaurs, proper centaurs, SDOs, ETNOs, all these labels that astronomers were given, these Kuiper belt objects, and we just say centaur in karmic astrology because it's easier. It's the same generalization when we say personal planets, and we include the luminaries when we brilliantly know that they are not planets, of course. So anyhow, this is these are the centaurs that are ready to move into the next sign, and they create all kinds of configurations, and just the things that we have not yet treated. Seto is toxic emotions, and Okhiro is hiding stuff that I know very well, but I don't want you to realize about myself. And then Asbolus is an oracle and seer who is constantly ridiculed whenever he makes a mistake, but no one pays attention to what he says when he's right. So here are the key phrases for 2024. What a mistake. 23. Anyhow, this is a Freudian slip. I really don't wish to go back to 2023 in one bit. Although someone asked me how it was for me, and I must say that actually it wasn't that bad. I achieved most of the stuff that I wanted. Personally, on the personal level, it was quite painful in many respects, but I learned to be stronger through those pains. And at the same time, I think it was a successful year, considering the school, Clearbrook. We had quite a few pupils. We still have quite a few pupils. So, from a professional viewpoint, I think it was a good year. I mean, 2023, but I'm hoping for a better year for 2024. And here are the key phrases: a sense of being stalled, stuck, and unable to move forward. All those energetic placements. Chaos and uncertainty will continue. You may remember that last year, the TNO chaos moved from Gemini to Cancer, 0 degrees Cancer, and all you saw was programmed chaos. Again, social unrest could intensify, and there could be revolts and even civil wars in the making, in a way. It will be a year of confusion, definitely, with all these energetic placements. There will be a lack of clarity and clear vision, although we could have the energy of dimension jump, so we could actually go up there and try to understand what's going on from a higher plane. And it is still possible to learn new skills and tactics. And this is key. This is the key. Okay. It will be very difficult to have a clear focus and clear thinking. And we will know what we don't want. And we will perfectly understand that this is what I don't want. But we won't be able to identify what we really want. So those are the keys. Okay. Let me stop this. And so I wish you a happy new year, happy 2024. Let's hope that those wars, those two horrible wars are going to be stopped. And just a note, if you are very keen on Israel to stop the war against Gaza, I wonder why you are not exactly keen on the same level for the war to stop for Ukraine. Both are horrible. Both wars should be stopped. Both create a lot of suffering among children, among women, among young people. A lot of young lives are lost. A whole generation is being wiped out. It's terrible. It should be stopped. And this is what I wish for us. I wish you peace and contentment, despite the fact that we might actually learn to be less content and more content on spiritual goods. Thank you for listening. Happy New Year. Bye-bye.